This YouTube episode is brought to you by Double Down Casino. Practice poker with Double Down by visiting www.doubledowncasino.com. Enter promo code HPT, the number 4, Double Down to receive 1 million in virtual chips. Enjoy.
This is the HPT.
Sit right down, put on your poker face, you with the big dogs now. Better bring your best game, talk trash all you want. To me it's all the same, you won't leave with much when you come in second place. And I'm the one with the stack showing 7 to the jack. Gon' cry to your mama cause I'm sending you back. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. Last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand.
Hello everyone and welcome to the HPT. I'm James Larson, joined by professional poker player Maria Ho. This week we are very excited here on the HPT because we're going to a brand new property, the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino.
James, this may be our first time at this beautiful property in Reno, Tahoe, but I can say with confidence it won't be our last. With over 2,000 hotel rooms and a casino floor of nearly 50,000 square feet, Grand Sierra is more or less a city in and of itself. A 50-lane bowling alley, movie theater, and on-site driving range are just a few of the amenities visitors will find at this venue.
And Maria, let's not forget about the location of our final table this week, the state-of-the-art Lex nightclub. This place is incredible. It's a premier club that rivals the country's top nightlife venues. Smack dab in the middle of this club is a full-size in-ground pool.
We could go on and on about what Grand Sierra has to offer, but we should probably focus a little more on the poker since that's what all these nice people at home have tuned in to see. Hundreds of players made their way to the property this week to take a shot at the coveted HPT title up for grabs. The main event ended up with more than $370,000 in the prize pool, and our winner will take home just short of $90,000. Second place, $55,000 and change. Third place is going to take home a nice payday of $37,282, while our ninth place finisher is going to get to go home with $9,694.
Not a bad payday for a weekend's worth of work. Well, without further ado, let's head into Lex Nightclub,
where Amber Fukuda is standing by to introduce our players at tonight's final table.
Hello everyone and welcome to the HPT main event at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino. My name is Amber Fukuda. This is my first time at this event, but I've had a blast so far at the Grand Sierra. Before we get started, let's meet the final 9 players.
My name is James Hayes and I'm from Sebastopol, California.
My name's Zach Gilbert and I'm from Reno, Nevada.
Okay, my name is Ed Yang, also known as Special Ed. I'm 71 years old. I'm from Livermore, California.
My name is Tim Clement. I'm from Chico, California.
I'm Steve Foudy from the Bay Area, and I live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
My name is Zephyr Pelling. I'm from Santa Rosa, California.
I'm Stan Jablonski from Bullhead City, Arizona.
My name is Tony Lei, and I'm from Vietnam, and I'm working in GSR, one of the best casinos in town.
I'm excited to see how these 9 take on the final table and fight for life-changing money. Let's take a look at the chip count and get right to the action.
Starting this final table, we have Zephyr Pelling, who has quite a big chip lead. He has 2.3 million, which is 116 big blinds. Behind him is Zach Gilbert, is second in chips with just under 1.5 million. And James Hayes is in the third spot with just over 1 million. And our short stack today is Tim Clement. He has 13 big blinds.
All right, blinds are 10,000, 20,000 with a 3K ante. Let's get the cards in the air.
Action starts on a very familiar face here on the HPT, Stan Jablonski. Pretty much needs no introduction at this point.
His 7th final table. You can't dispute his results. This guy plays great poker, and it's great to see Stan back. And, of course, we know him very well on the tour. Him and his wife, Connie, just great people.
Stan folds and actions on Tony Lei, who looks down at ace jack offsuit, and he raises 45,000.
And Maria, I gotta say, I like this guy's getup. Tony's got the shades, he's got the jacket, he's looking good.
Honestly, those glasses are pretty stylish. James looks down at ace king, and he does re-raise with that hand to 100,000.
Now over to Michael in the 9 seat. Now over to Tim in seat number 1. another lucky player who made it into this event for only $375, and he looks down at pocket queens.
Some big hands here to start the action at this final table, and Tim moves all in. He only has 13 big blinds, so pretty opportune for him to pick up such a big hand on a short stack here.
Tony does fold.
James can't fold. It's only 13 big blinds. He's got ace king.
So James is going to go ahead and make the call. We flip over the card, and Tim's going to see he's ahead with his pocket queens, going up against two overcards, the ace and king of James Hayes.
We see this a lot in tournament poker. It's just the standard coin flip. Sometimes you got to win a bunch of these in order to win a tournament.
James Hayes told us his plans for the cash. He wants to take a little vacation. Well, Maria, he can come right back out here because this is a beautiful place to spend some time here in beautiful Reno, Nevada.
Flop is queen jack 4. That queen was right in the window, giving Tim top set. However, James does have a gut shot to Broadway. A 10 would give James the winning hand.
Go to the turn card now. It's the 10 of spades, and just like that, the tables have turned.
Tim was ahead on the flop. Now James pulls into the lead on the turn, but it's still not over yet. If the board pairs, Tim will have a boat.
And the river card is the 3 of diamonds, and just like that, Tim is eliminated. Maria, nobody ever said poker was fair. This guy flops a set, but no luck as the 10 comes on the turn to make Broadway for his opponent. So the winner of the hand is James Hayes as he knocks out Tim. Tim will go home as our 9th place finisher.
Tim's going to take home $9,694. Nobody likes to be the first one out at a final table, but still a good payday for Tim Clement.
All right, Maria, it's time to step aside and take a quick break from this final table, and I know we're going to see a lot more exciting final table action, so don't go too far. You're watching the HPT.
Hello everyone, I'm Amber Fukuda. We're here at the final table at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino. We're 8-handed. Let's get back to the action.
Zephyr Pelling still in the chip lead. He's got over 2.3 million. Zach and James fairly close in chips in second and third. And we've got a few players with about 300,000 in chips, with Steve Foudy as our shortest stack.
Zach folds over to Michael now in the 9th seat. He's going to fold. Back to Stan Jablonski. He looks down at 8 Trey. He folds over to Tony Lay.
Tony looks down at ace queen offsuit.
Where do you even buy sunglasses like that? They look futuristic.
They look like it could be like Chanel or Gucci. Tony, send me an email. Let me know where they're from.
Absolutely.
Action is folded around to James. He looks down at 7-6 offsuit.
He's reaching for chips. Looks like he's going to play this hand. He's going to make the call.
So James defends his big blind here with 7-6.
And the flop is 5 Trey Deuce Rainbow.
So James is first to act, and he has a gut shot straight draw, but he checks it over to Tony. Tony also checks.
Both players checking. A lot of cash on the line. First place, $89,484. The Trey of clubs comes on the turn. This time James is going to fire out chips. 65,000 is the bet.
James decides to go for the semi-bluff here, but Tony, who also has a gut shot to Broadway, a smaller straight, calls.
5 of spades now comes on the river.
And I think this is a pretty good river card for Tony. I think he might think his ace high is good, but it looks like James is willing to bet again, hoping to get Tony to fold the best hand.
Still firing, this time 110,000 chips. Over to Tony now.
There's a couple of missed draws on this board. I think Tony's going to make this call here with ace high.
And Tony does just that. He makes the call. He's going to flip over his cards. He's going to be real happy as he's going to find out he's the winner of this hand. Still rank the pot. A little smile there from Tony. I said it before, Maria, the sharpest dressed man at this nationally televised final table as we come to you from the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino here in Reno, Nevada. Blinds 10,000, 20,000 with a 3K ante. If you think you have what it takes to play at this final table, why not give it a shot? You can visit us online at hptpoker.com. Action will start with Zephyr. He folds now over to Steve Fouty, the Army veteran. He looks down at pocket queens.
A lot of respect for the people that serve in our armed forces. So I'm going to root for him to win this hand.
Absolutely. Steve's going to raise to 44,000, Maria, with his pocket queens.
James Hayes looking to get involved again with pocket eights, calls this raise. Zach folds.
Action now in the 9 seat of Michael. He's into this event for only $375. He's going to make the call with a suited 7-6.
A lot of players at this final table having a great return on their investment here.
Thanks, Sean.
Stan Jablonski looks down at ace deuce, offsuit, and folds.
Now over to Tony Lay. I think he's going to be my pick. I like this guy, Maria. I'm going to go with Tony to take this thing down. He folds that hand. Now over to Ed Yang, the retired school teacher.
Ed in the big blind here. And he's not going to defend. So a three-way pot here. Steven's got a huge hand.
We got queens, we got eights, and we got 7-6 suited up in hearts. And the flop is Jack 5 tray.
So Steve still has an overpair to the board, but James probably still likes his hand with just that one overcard.
Steve is reaching for chips, and he is going to wager 77,000. Over to James now with his pocket eights.
I think James might take one off here. Mike actually has a gut shot straight draw and a backdoor flush draw. Maybe because there's 2 other players in this pot, he might stick around. We'll see how gambly he is.
All in and out, seat 9.
And wow, Mike has a whole lot of gamble in him. He moves all his chips in the middle. Mike has Steve covered, so Steve's obviously not going to fold his overpair, but it will be his tournament life at risk.
All in.
Steve re-announces all in. Steve with a 16.
Damn, I was thinking you had chips.
Mike with the 9C went all in, and Steve re-raised all in. That's 2 in.
I think Steve's a little surprised when he saw the cards, Mike, as he flips over his 7-6 of hearts. But Steve's in very good shape here to double up and keep his tournament hopes alive.
The turn is the 3 of clubs, so now Mike can only hit a 4 to eliminate Steve. Otherwise, Steve is going to double up with a very nice size pot here.
You can see the percentages. Steve, a huge favorite here to double up. River card is the 6 of spades. No help for Mike. Steve's going to double up and keep his tournament hopes alive.
Well, that was a super risky move by Mike that did not pay off, unfortunately. But the good news is he's still in the tournament. We are in Reno, Nevada at the beautiful Grand Sierra Resort and Casino. Let's go to Amber Fukuda, who takes us around a tour of this beautiful property.
So this is the Grand Chairman Suite at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino. Let's take a better look around. Wow, life is grand at the Grand Sierra Resort. This Grand Chairman Suite is immaculate. I can't wait to come back and stay here at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino.
Thanks for taking us behind the scenes there, Amber, but I gotta say, I kind of would rather be out there with her than in here with him.
Hey.
Come back for more action from the HPT.
Welcome back to the HPT. It's James Larson and professional poker player Maria Ho. We're in one of my favorite cities this week, Reno, Nevada, at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino. Big payday up top, just under $90,000. Let's head back to final table action.
Our chip leader is still Zephyr Pelling here. He's got over $2 million. Zach Gilbert has $1.4 million. James Hayes has $1.2 million. And our short stacks are Ed Yang and Mike Stockton with just 10 big blinds.
It's a fun little final table here at Grand Sierra Resort and Casino. Up top, just over $89,000, Maria. A great payday. And the min cash, Maria, just under $12,000. Everybody should be smiling. Lines going up now, 12,000, 24,000 with a 3K ante. We start with Stan Jablonski. Looks down at pocket tens, and he's going to raise to 51,000. Stan trying to win his first HPT title. He's been to 7 of these final tables. We'll see if he can do it here in the desert at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino.
Tony folds, and Ed looks down at ace 3.
Ed's going to fold. Zephyr folds. Now over to Steve Foudy.
Steve looks down at king deuce of hearts. I feel like everybody's taking some time to think about whether or not they should fold against Stan's raise. Does Stan have like a loose image or something that I don't really know about?
I don't know. I didn't think so.
King deuce of hearts, a few seconds, then
I know.
fold.
Action now on the 8 seat of Zach Gilbert.
And a call by Zach.
Zach calls with pocket sixes from the small blind. Now to Mike, who is in the big blind. Mike has the shortest stack at this final right now. He has 10 big blinds. So I don't really think he has much post-flop play left. He's got to move it all in. And of course, with kings, not a tough decision.
No, not a tough decision at all. Pocket kings. Action now over to Stan. He makes the call.
Stan isolates Mike's all in, causing the pocket sixes of Zach to fold.
And Stan not happy what he sees as we flip over the cards. He knows he's dominated against Mike's kings.
Stan's looking for one of 2 10s.
I know Stan pretty well, and I know that look. It's just kind of like, how did that just happen?
Flop is ace, 9, 4, 2 hearts. Kings are still in the lead. Mike looking to double up here.
All right, let's see the turn card.
The turn card now, the queen of spades. A little smile there from Mike. And Stan knows there's only 2 cards left in the deck that can help him stay alive, and that's not one of them, Maria. The ace of clubs. So 2 pair for Mike is going to win it. Aces and kings. And he's going to drag that pot.
Mike's going to rebound a little bit from his earlier misstep.
And if it's one thing I know about Stan Jablonski, win or lose, he's always a good sport at the table. Blinds are 12,000, 24,000, 3K ante. Over to Zephyr now. He's going to raise to 50,000 with Jack 7.
James and Zach both fold. Back to Mike.
Michael Stockton is a hunting outfitter. He's into this event for only $375. He's going to make the call with a suited king deuce. We go to Stan Jablonski with Jack 9 of spades.
And the flop is Jack 10, 5, all hearts. So Mike there has just ginned this flop. He's flopped a flush. Stan has top pair, and Zephyr also has top pair with a heart redraw.
Everybody getting a little piece of this flop, and all 3 players checking. We go to the turn card, the 7 of spades.
Wow, and that's a bad card for Zephyr because now he's improved to 2 pair with the flush redraw. But Mike has the best hand with the flush here, and Mike just bets a little tiny bet of 25K.
Stan Jablonski now is going to raise to 55,000.
And now Zephyr's thinking, why is there all this action? I've got 2 pair. I've got a heart in my hand. I think he's just going to call the 55,000 though.
Nope, he's going to re-raise. We're going up to 105,000. Mike's got to love this action.
Mike's just like, well, I got the second nut flush, guys. I don't know what you guys are raising and re-raising with. He moves it all in the middle.
Stan's got to realize here, well, maybe my hand's not so good after all. He's going to fold. Now over to Zephyr.
And it's 317,000 more to call, and Zephyr feels like with 2 pair and a heart in his hand, he's not going to fold, especially because we've seen Mike do some crazy stuff.
Well, Zephyr's not going to be real happy when he sees what Mike has. He still has outs, but as you can see by the graphic, Maria, 93% to 7%.
Zephyr's looking for another jack or a 7 to fill up here.
And the river card is the tray of clubs. So the winning hand is the king high flush from Michael Stockton. He's going to win the hand and continue his quest to be our next HPT champion. This episode of the HPT is brought to you by our friends at Double Down Casino. Get started today with 1 million free virtual chips by visiting www.doubledowncasino.com. Enter promo code HPT for Double Down. That's promo code HPT for Double Down. You can also find Double Down Casino on Facebook, iOS, or Android stores. It's time to step aside for a quick commercial break, but when we come back, more exciting HPT action.
Welcome back to the HPT. There are 8 players remaining, so still a lot of knockouts to come. Let's get right back to the action. And our chip leader here is Zephyr Pelling. He's got 71 big blinds, 1.7 million in chips. Steve Foudy is in the second spot with 1.3 million. We've got 2 short stacks, Ed Lay and Stan Jablonski, but they still got a little play left. They've got about 16 big blinds.
Action continues here from the desert. Lines 12,000, 24,000 with a 3K ante. Action will start with Steve Fowley, the Army veteran. Looks down at 7-4. He's going to fold. Now over to James Hayes. He folds to Zach Gilbert. Zach's got a wife going to grad school, so I'm sure some of this prize pool will help their family and continue her education.
School is so expensive these days. Undergrad, grad school, like so many loans that you're in deep for years afterwards.
Folded around to Ed Yang. Speaking of school, this guy taught high school for 37 years.
Ed looks down at 9-8 of diamonds. He's going to defend from the small blind. And Zephyr's also going to defend from the big blind with Jack 10 offsuit.
3 players going to the flop, and the flop is 8-5 deuce, couple of hearts.
Ed has top pair here with a backdoor diamond draw. Zephyr's got no piece of this, and Mike has the same top pair but with the best kicker.
Ed's reaching for chips. I told you he was a school teacher, Maria. He was also a driving instructor. 40 years of teaching kids how to drive.
The patience this man has.
He's going to make a bet of 100,000 chips. It's a fold by Zephyr, and now Mike makes the call.
Mike has the best hand here, pair 8s with an ace kicker.
6 of spades comes on the turn. I'm starting to get flashbacks of when I learned how to drive a car.
Sure, you scared the heck out of your driving instructor. Ed has a gut shot straight draw to go with his top pair now.
I think I'm going to go all in.
And he's going to go all in. As you can see by the graphic, over 200,000 chips from Mike to make this call. And Maria, do you see him making this call?
Well, you know, based on what I've seen from Mike so far, I don't think he's going to fold top pair with an ace kicker here. So Ed is going to need to get lucky. He needs to pair his 9 on the river or hit his gut shot.
And the river card is the deuce of hearts, so 2 pair. Mike is going to win the hand.
So Ed is going to go home in 8th place, taking home $11,744. Sad to see him go. I feel like, you know, school teachers, they don't get paid as much as they should be.
No, Ed's a great guy. We asked him how big of a role poker is in his life, and he told me only second to country, family, and faith. Well, congratulations, Ed. We hope to see you again at another HPT final table.
Zach Gilbert is first to act this hand. He's got pocket 7s.
He's got kind of an interesting card protector there. Looks like some kind of a rooster. And Zach with his pocket 7s is going to raise to 55,000. Over to Michael Stockton.
55,000. Action is to Mike in the 9th seat. Mike folds over to Stan in the 2 seat.
Michael folds over to Stan Jablonski, who looks down at 6 tray. Stan folds. Over to Tony Lay. Love those sunglasses. Love the whole look. Zephyr's going to fold. Now action over to Steve Fowdy. Got over 300,000 in lifetime earnings.
Steve is in the small blind here, and he's contemplating whether or not he wants to get involved.
This way.
He was 7 years active duty in the Army from 1993 to 2000. We thank him for his years of service. He makes the call with pocket 4s. Now action over to James Hayes with 6-5.
James is in the big blind.
No, that's when you're in the big.
And he is going to let it go. Not going to defend with that hand.
Heads up to the flop. Zach 7's going up against Steve's pocket 4s. Right now, Maria, the minimum cash here at this final table, just under $14,000.
And the flop is ace, king, 4, 2 clubs. So Steve has flopped a set here on Zach.
Steve happy with that flop. He's going to check over to Zach and try to set the trap.
And in Steve's mind, he thinks this is a great board because Zach came in raising, so he thinks Zach could very possibly have an ace or a king in his hand. But little does he know, Zach doesn't really like this board either. So Steve should probably be slow playing right now if he wants to get maximum value.
All right, let's see the turn card.
Turn card is the 8 of diamonds. Action will start once again with Steve. He's flopped a set, as you can see. He's going to check over to Zach. And now Zach's going to check back. River card, deuce of hearts.
Like I said, Zach doesn't like that board for his hand, and so now Steve's got to do his own bidding and bet if he wants to get paid off here, but I don't think Zach is going to pay him off with sevens.
Steve's going to bet $232,000. A pot now of over 500,000 chips. Action to Zach, and he is going to fold it. So the winner of the hand, Steve Fouty. I still like in his profile, he likes to play poker, sleep, eat, and then play more poker. I'll hang out with this guy from now on.
This has been a great final table so far, and I'm excited to see who is going to be crowned our next HPT champion. Come back right after these messages.
Welcome back. It's Amber Fukuda at the HPT final table. Let's get those cards back in the air.
Zephyr and Steve are neck and neck for the chip lead right now. And James, Mike, and Zach are also pretty close in the counts. Our short stack is Stan Jablonski with $376,000, but we never count Stan out. Blinds are up to $15,000, $30,000 with a 4K ante.
Players are starting to loosen up a little bit. We see this at the final tables, like I talked about earlier. The cameras, the lights, always a little nerves once we get started, but after a few hands, everybody says, all right, this isn't so bad after all.
Listen, you guys are at a TV final table playing for a lot of money. Let's have some fun. Let's bring poker back to the way it should be.
Absolutely. And when you talk about a lot of money, right now the min cash just under $14,000, but up top, that's what everybody wants, $89,484. You're a professional poker player, Maria. When you get this close, is the money on your mind while you're playing the game?
No, I think you really have to be able to separate yourself from how much you're playing for, because the second you start thinking, oh my gosh, this is so much money, what am I going to do with all of it if I win, then it makes you make bad decisions sometimes.
He announces a raise. You know, that's the thing that would go through my mind. We talked about money. I would be sitting here going, all right, the min cash is just under $14,000. I'm only into this for $375, so it's basically all profit for this guy.
So Zephyr raises to $60K here with ace queen, and Zach has the same hand, but it's suited in diamonds, and Zach decides to 3-bet here. Zephyr makes the call. You can't blame him.
Love Zephyr's table image here. The scarf, the shades, he's got the watch, he's got the ring. His opponent, Zach, a little more conservative, kind of the guy next door. Look, they both flop the queen here. Queen 8-6.
And so I'm sure they both really like their hand right now. Top pair, the best kicker. This is going to be a chop pot.
Again, can't we just tell these guys just to speed up the broadcast here a little bit? Zach is going to bet $180,000. Zephyr's going nowhere.
Zephyr looks like he's just going to make the call here.
Wait, how about our rail there in the background? These guys look like they're having a good time back there. I even see Stan's wife, Connie, there.
Always very supportive of Stan's final table appearances. The turn is the deuce of diamonds.
Action over to that man. Zach Gilbert, been playing poker on and off for 10 years.
I'm not really sure why Zach is checking. You got to think you have the best hand. You were the 3-better pre-flop. There's not really much to be afraid of. You should be going for value, and I'm surprised that Zephyr checks back as well.
All right, let's see the river. River card is
both players checking. The deuce of diamonds. Now the king of spades comes on the river. Once again, Zach Gilbert will be first to act.
And Zach decides that now he wants to put out a value bet. And I don't think that Zephyr is going to fold here because the turn was checked around. Obviously, Zephyr probably doesn't like the king, but I think he's still going to make the call.
And Zach's going to bet 350,000 chips.
350 is the bet.
And it looks like Zephyr is going to make this call. And all the rest of the players at this table are like, thanks for wasting our time. Just kidding.
So Zephyr makes the call. We flip over the cards. The players realize the pot will be chopped.
Let's take a break from the action here and go into our favorite segment on the show, A Poker Life with Doyle Brunson, brought to you by Double Down Casino. Visit www.doubledowncasino.com and receive 1 million virtual chips. Enter promo code HPT for Double Down. That's promo code HPT, the number 4. Double Down. This time, Doyle talks to us about one of his first trips to Vegas.
My two friends from Exchange Avenue were David Vernon and Wayne Hamilton. And they were about my age, maybe a year or so younger. And we had accumulated a little bit of money, not much, a few $100s. And we decided we'd go to Vegas. And as we were leaving, this, like I say, this drug addict that, his name was Paul something, he asked if he could go with us, and we said yeah. So anyway, we came to Vegas, and we met down on the corner of Fremont Street, and we divided up what little money we had, and we said, okay, we'll go to different casinos, I guess shoot craps and play blackjack, or I don't think they even had poker games. And we said, we'll meet back here in an hour. And so we went our separate ways. An hour we came back, everybody was broke. We had 3 or 4 cents, and I said, here's what we got left. And one of the guys hit my hand and threw it up like that and broke my glasses. And so I said, well, I know Jimmy over in Los Angeles. So let's go over there and maybe we can borrow some money. So we came in my car, and I had a credit card to get gas, so we went. And he gave us a little money. We went to Gardena, which was legal poker in California. And we were playing along poker, and the guy that loaned us the money was with us, and he got in a big pot. The drug addict was playing. He was a good poker player also, and they didn't have a cent dealer. Everybody dealt, and so he had all of his money in the pot against this lady, and she drew one. He burned one, dealt her one, and he said, "I'm Pat," but he turned the card up for some strange reason. And when he did that, she screamed and said, the floor person came over and said, "This guy cheated me and everything." And he said, "No, I've got a 6-4 here." Said, "You know, I didn't. Well, why did you turn the card up?" Make a long story short, they gave her the pot, kicked him out. Now we're out on the road again, and we're driving back to Los Angeles, and this car pulls up beside us and pulled us over. It was the FBI, and I was driving, and they stopped. They said, "You know who's in the car here with you?" This boy, he may still be alive. I won't call his name. And I said, "Yeah, I know." And he said, "Well, what are you doing with him?" I said, "Well, we came out here, we went to Vegas, we got broke, and we came over here and borrowed some money, and he gave it to us, and he's just with us." He said, "Well, we've got enough thieves and killers out here in California without you Texas SOBs coming out here." I said, "You get back out of this state." I said, "Okay." So we dropped him off and headed back to Texas.
Always fun to hear a story, Maria, from the legend, Texas Dolly, Doyle Brunson. We thank him for his time. We also want to thank our sponsor of that segment, Double Down Casino. And you can visit them at www.doubledowncasino.com and receive your exclusive HPT bonus offer of 1 million virtual chips. Enter promo code HPT for Double Down. That's promo code HPT for Double Down. You can also find Double Down Casino on Facebook, iOS, or Android. When we continue, more action from our final table tonight, coming to you from the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino right here in beautiful Reno, Nevada. Welcome back to the HPT. It's James Larson and Maria Ho coming to you from the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino. We are here at the Lex Nightclub, a beautiful place here to have our final table.
Zephyr and Steve are still toe-to-toe battling it out for that chip lead. Zach and James are also very close in chips as well. And we've got Tony Lay with 17 big blinds and Stan Jablonski as our short stack with 13 big blinds.
James Larson and Maria Ho coming to you from inside the Lex Nightclub here at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino. Probably my favorite city in the entire country, Reno, Nevada. Just love being out here.
Tony Lay looks down at Pocket Kings, makes it 70,000 to go.
Tony's got a lot of friends in the audience here because Tony's worked at this property for over 20 years now.
Zephyr re-raises to 165,000 with Ace Queen.
Might see some fireworks on this hand.
Tony started this hand with 17 big blinds, so he's going to probably shove all in. And I feel like if Zephyr 3-bets here, he can't really fold to that stack, so I think we're going to get it in here.
Everybody else gets out of the way. Tony says, I'm all in. Zephyr says, okay.
So Tony's pretty happy to see that. Zephyr's just got that one overcard with an ace. It is Tony's tournament life on the line here.
Tony's almost got a little Elvis Presley in him as well. This guy's, he's a classy guy. Flop is ace, 9-5, all diamonds.
Wow, and that's just a bad flop for Tony. Not only has Zephyr hit his 3 outer, but he also now has the queen of diamonds. So the king of diamonds will not help Tony. He actually only has 1 out here with 2 cards to come.
Turn card now, the 10 of clubs. Tony Lay realizes his final table experience may be over here in a matter of seconds. And just like that river card, the deuce of hearts, Zephyr wins the hand. A big round of applause for Tony. Like I said, a lot of folks came to the studio audience to watch him at this final table. He's going out with just under 14,000, Maria. Nice little payday for him here on the HPT. Blinds are 15,000, 30,000 with a 4K ante. We start with Stan Jablonski, a regular here on the HPT. He folds, as does Zephyr. Action to Steve Foudy. Steve's going to fold.
Now James Hayes looks down at ace 10 of diamonds.
Action now to James Hayes. He's a contractor.
He's on the button and he raises to 70,000 with ace 10 of diamonds. Small blind of Zach Gilbert. He looks down at 7-6 of diamonds.
James isn't saying too much at this final table, keeping to himself. I'm kind of the opposite when I play it. Well, not final tables, just when I play poker in general. I like to talk. I like to get to know people. It's probably why I'm up here in the broadcast booth and not playing for the life-changing cash like these lucky players.
And I like this, a re-raise from Zach to 190,000, mixing it up here. Kind of saying to James, you know, you're raising on the button. You could have a weak hand. I'm going to put you to the test here. James does have a pretty strong hand, though, for the button, and he does call the 120,000.
And Maria, as a poker player, sometimes you do have to mix it up. Try something different, a little out of the ordinary, and sometimes you'll get lucky.
And I'm definitely all for being the aggressor in the hand. I think it makes some of your decisions a lot easier.
Flop is ace, 5, deuce, rainbow. Action will start with Zach.
James is flop top pair, so I'm sure he's not going anywhere, but I'm sure Zach is also going to try to rep this ace, considering he did 3-bet pre.
He does just that, Maria, and he bets 275,000 chips.
James makes the call. I would say Zach has running diamonds as outs for the best hand, but he doesn't even have that because, as you could see, James has the nut diamonds.
Turn card now is the tray of clubs.
Well, that helps Zach a little bit because if the 4 of diamonds comes, it'll give James the wheel, but it'll give Zach the 7 high straight.
Zach's going to check over to James.
And James is going to bet 300,000 now, trying to get some value out of his hand.
And looking at Zach here, Maria, he looks like he's ready to take a nap.
Zach doesn't have the odds to call with a gut shot straight draw, but maybe he's thinking, can I check raise and go all in and maybe get James to fold? It looks like James has an ace here, so a lot of times it's just about if you think you get your opponent to lay down the best hand.
Sometimes you got to get creative to win the hand, but Zach says, I've had enough. He folds, and the winner of the hand is James Hayes. More poker action coming up after this quick commercial break. You are watching exclusive final table coverage right here on the HPT. Welcome back to the HPT. It's James Larson and the beautiful Maria Ho. We are in Reno, Nevada, here at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino. I'll be honest with you, Maria, I don't really want to go home. This place is top-notch, a premium resort hotel property, and Amber gives us a behind-the-scenes look.
I'm here at Lex, a brand new nightclub at the Grand Sierra, where I just ordered myself a signature cocktail called the Cotton Candy Martini. Let's see how it tastes. That's fantastic. If the club is even half as good as this cocktail, I think I'm gonna have a good time. Let's go inside and check it out. Whew! What a night. I'm a Vegas girl, so I love to have fun, and Lex definitely did not disappoint. It's been quite a day here at the Grand Sierra. I'm Amber Fukuda with HPT.
James is our chip leader, but just by a very narrow margin. Steve Foudy is right behind him. Zephyr and Mike are still comfortable with their stack size. It's just Stan Jablonski who has 8 big blinds that's looking to make a move. Blinds are up to 20,000, 40,000 with a 5K ante. And Stan wakes up with a big hand, pocket kings, just in the nick of time. He's only got 8 big blinds, so he is going to move it all in there. Zephyr calls behind him with ace queen offsuit.
And speaking of people that are friendly at the table, there's nobody more friendlier than that guy right there, Stan Jablonski. And he does get a caller. Zephyr looks him up with ace of diamonds, queen of spades, and we go to the flop.
The flop is 8-5-5, so Stan's looking good to double up here. We did see Zephyr get lucky earlier, though, against Tony Lay's kings. So I don't know. Sometimes people have run good, and you get a little bit fearful, even when you have the best hand.
Just an awesome track record for Mr. Jablonski. His 7th final table, and that's not going to help. The ace of spades comes on the turn.
Stan is looking for one of 2 kings remaining. Otherwise, he will be eliminated.
Let's say the river.
And the river card, no king, no luck for Stan. A 4 of hearts, he's going to be eliminated. But as always, Stan works his way around the rail, shakes everybody's hand. Congratulations to him. Another nice payday, just under $17,000.
Well, we're definitely not surprised here on the HPT to see Stan at yet another final table. And I know this won't be his last.
Lines going up now, 20,000, 40,000 with a 5K ante. Start with Steve. He looks down at 2 red 4s. What do you think when you look down at 2 4s? It's a small pair. Is that a hand you like to play?
Yeah, I mean, if you're fairly deep and it's 5-handed, I would come in with an open.
And Steve's going to do just that with a small raise with his pocket 4s. Action now to the 9 seed of Michael Stockton. He looks down at pocket kings.
Well, kings have not fared well in all-in situations thus far, but obviously you're not going to not play them. And it looks like Mike's just going to slow play here.
Action now over to Zephyr.
Zephyr in the big blind. He's going to also call. Zephyr's got queen of spades, 3 of spades here.
Pre-hand into the flop. Let's say the flop. Flop is 3 of diamonds, queen of
So
hearts.
3 ways to the flop now, and the flop is queen, 10, tray, rainbow.
So Zephyr has flopped his way to 2 pair here, but Mike's probably thinking, I've got an overpair to the board. I slow play this. It's got to be the best hand.
Michael's really playing this hand slow, Maria.
He's first act and he checks, so now Zephyr's going to just put out a bet. Steve quickly folds.
Now I expect something out of Mike.
To Mike, this flop looks fairly safe for his kings, and it does look like he's going to raise.
So Michael is going to raise now to the tune of 500,000 chips over to Zephyr.
Zephyr's just making sure not to act too quickly. He's pretty excited. He knows he's going to get the chips in the middle. Just want to make sure that Mike's going to call him if he does.
All in.
All in. Zephyr says all in.
And now Zephyr says he's all in, and you know what Michael's going to say. He calls. We flip over the cards now. Zephyr's going to say, you got kings? Come on, man.
I don't mind Mike slow playing his hand in this situation. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. Mike needs to catch a king, or he needs the board to pair not the queen or the 3.
Zephyr just stays where he's sitting. Michael stands up, takes a drink of his coffee. It's always funny to watch the different reactions out of players in certain situations. 6 of diamonds now on the turn.
So Mike's looking for a king, a 10, or a 6 in order to double up and survive. River's the 8 of diamonds, so that is not going to do it for Mike Stockton. Good game here today, and he's going to take home $20,506. Good payday for Mike.
Well, Maria, unfortunately for tonight's episode, we're all out of time. But before we go, give me your rating on these players' play at the final table.
Yeah, honestly, I think all of these players are playing pretty well so far. For some of these players, it is their first TV final table, but it doesn't seem like it. I think most players have their composure and are feeling each other out to a point where they're ready to make some moves. So I can't wait to see next week who becomes our next HPT champion.
Now, also before we go, if you're watching this and you think you have what it takes to play right here on the HPT on this nationally televised final table, well, why not give it a shot? It's very simple. Check out our webpage for all the information. Just head on over to hptpoker.com, and who knows, maybe you'll be playing for the life-changing cash. For Amber Fukuda, she's Maria Ho, I'm James Larson, and we'll see you next time on the HPT.